Armagnac hails from the Gascony region of France, known for its rich foods like duck, foie gras, cassoulet, and hearty red wines. Its landscape is a wonderful quilt of colors formed by sunflowers, wheat, corn, and vines planted along gently rolling hills. The Armagnac region is about 3 hours south of Cognac. Armagnac predates Cognac by about 200 years, but has never achieved the success of its well-connected cousin. Those in the Armagnac region found it hard to get their products to the market and were shut off from lucrative international trade. To this day, it has remained a hidden spirit, destined for connoisseurs who are willing to seek it out. Unlike Cognac, distillation of Armagnac is done with a portable, continuous alembic that makes its way over the rolling hills from farm to farm during the winter months. Unlike Cognac, the wine is distilled only once. The continuous still processes the wine much faster than a pot still. The wine enters the still and fills the preheater. It descends through the heating column divided into a number of plates and finishes off in the boiler. The wine boils and the vapors rise, forced through the incoming wine and rising to the top of the still. They are cooled by the incoming wine in the condensing coil and come out of the still and go directly into the barrels. Most of the esters and congeners have been removed through the distillation process, but some still remain. It is with extended barrel aging that its aromatic intensity, largely based on some of these initial impurities, is allowed to express itself in complex ways. The soil in Armagnac is very different from that of Cognac as well. A tawny-colored sand that contains small limestone chunks. These poor soils help give the grapes lower alcohol and higher acidity than those of the Cognac region. Grapes used in Armagnac also differ from those in the Cognac region. While they do use Ugni Blanc like in Cognac, they also use a few others. Folle Blanche, which gives plenty of finesse, Colombar, which brings lots of fruit, and Baco 22A, which adds weight and texture. The mixture of these grape varieties enables Armagnac to have additional flavors. Traditionally, Armagnac is aged in oak barrels whose wood comes from local forests. Like in Cognac, as the years pass, the wood creates color and adds vanilla, toffee, and spice notes to the distillate. Armagnac is a rich, fiery spirit. One reason for this is because it's not reduced with water like Cognac, meaning that it's more concentrated. Most vintage Armagnacs reach the market at between 90 and 98 proof. Domaine Boingnères was acquired in 1807 by Jean Boingnères. In 1948, his descendant, Marguerite Boingnères, married Léon Lafitte. The son of a tradesman, Lafitte was born in Laubade d'Armagnac, a small village near La Frêche. He became an officer in the French army and spent 5 years as a prisoner of the Germans during the Second World War. In 1946, he retired from the army and returned to his native village. In the early 50s, an adjoining property was bought and added to the estate. Lafitte dove full-time into the Armagnacs of Boingnères. He spent the next 40 years restoring the vineyards. Rather than following tradition, he began planting less and less Baco and concentrated on the noble varieties, Ugni Blanc, Colombar, and, particularly, Folle Blanche. To be able to distill when and how he wanted, he installed his own still in 1975. Rather than blending the varieties together and then distilling, Léon distilled the varieties separately and then blended them afterwards. In 1953, the stocks of Armagnac at Boingnères stood at about 40 barrels. By the early 90s, the stock had risen to nearly 560 barrels. The Boingnères Armagnacs had become heavily sought after by connoisseurs and available at top restaurants and serious stores worldwide. In 1994, on the final day that Full Blanche was being distilled, Léon Lafitte died after a long and painful illness. He was buried in the cemetery nearby, with his feet facing the direction of his coveted still. His wife Marguerite and daughter Martine took over, running the business as their father had, with complete attention to detail.
Alors moi, je regarde toujours, c'est la netteté du produit, soit en parfum, soit en goût. Et alors pour expliquer la netteté, c'est très difficile.
In 2004, Marguerite succumbed to a long illness, leaving the domain in Martine's hands alone. She has continued with the same spirit as Léon, and the reputation of the domain has been taken to even further heights.